I'm about to record.
Okay. Hope it's quiet.
Welcome to another episode of Global Business. I am Dr. Neva, your global leadership strategist, where I give you a global leadership experience through my International Women's Conference and retreats and all the other lovely stuff that I offer. Today, like no other, we have a great, phenomenal powerhouse guest with us, Renee. Renee, listen, I love to have individuals introduce themselves. The funniest thing I just want to say on my assistant put, your profile on LinkedIn and I read it out, the whole, you're going to be with us today. And I didn't tag you because I was like, that didn't represent her. So, Renee, take it away. Let everyone know who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So my name is Renee Flagler, and I am an author, and I am the proud new president of the National Cares Mentoring Movement, an amazing organization that serves our youth across the country and gives them hope, healing, and transformation. We do amazing work around youth from sixth to ninth grade, as well as young high school students, young college students. So, I have a heart for a great mission, and this organization has an amazing mission.
Uh, Thank you, Renee. No, I could hear your passion when you speak, and I know you've worked with different organizations over time, right? And still being an author, being, and everything beyond that, which you didn't say, but yeah, thank you for your work. And we're going to dive into some questions because I'm sure, one wants to hear what you have to say, and especially within the leadership realm. So, Renee, as a leader, you've inspired many by focusing on serving others first. How
Yes,
do
yes.
you define servant leadership?
I define servant leadership as leadership that is really focused on serving your team, serving others, serving the people that you serve. A lot less focused on like being the leader and being in the spotlight, and a lot more focused on turning the attention to how do I best support and serve the people that we serve, as well as my team members, the people on the staff, and making sure that they have the support and development necessary to really reach their highest potential.
And why do you believe it's essential for creating lasting impact within, teams and organizations?
I think most importantly, investing in people and making sure that they know that they are seen, heard, valued, and that you are invested in their development and making sure that they are able to do their job in a way that allows them to grow, in a way that allows them to stretch, and in a way that allows them to bring their best self to work every day.
I love what you just said, investing in people. And so many times we don't realize investing in people will bring you so much more. We're so focused on investing in self, right? But that's great. But investing in people brings you so much more. And, which, tag along to my next question is, the secret behind high performing teams. Now, from your experience, Renee, what do you believe is the biggest misconception about building high performing teams, and what strategies, have you found most effective for cultivating trust, innovation, and collaboration?
A big misconception or fear, I would say, for cultivating high performing teams is that you're going to cultivate them to the point where someone's going to come steal them away from you. That they're going to be so great that they're going to then leave, and it does happen. It's actually happened to me, but I also think that it's the best way to make sure that the entire organization is thriving. It's the way to build trust. It's the way to let people know that you really care about what they have to bring to the table and that what they're bringing to the table is important. And it creates an environment where they're excited to be in it because they know that their contributions and their voice matters.
Yes, it's kind of like that saying. I'm gonna put it in there, like happy wife, happy life, right? That saying. So with we put it in that perspective with your employees, when you treat them right, right? They do so much more. But you mentioned something just now with, them, leaving sometimes. And it happens, but what's a positive spin that you think might happen after they leave?
So the benefit of those very amazing employees of mine that have moved on is, number one, the benefit to them, because if it's about them, you want them to be their best and do their best. So the benefit to them is that they get to really be their best version of themselves. They get the development and support that they need to maximize their career and their opportunities personally and professionally, and they don't forget you for it. So I've had employees leave the organizations that I've been with, but because of them, we were able to have new partnerships because they're with a company now that is looking to partner with an organization. And of course, they picked up the phone and said, "Hey, Renee, there's a great opportunity," right? Because they wanted to work with us again. Um, they've become part of your network. So having an amazing network that's just out there and advocating for you and what you do, and you're advocating for them, is definitely another positive side to that. And sometimes you get to work with them again. I have seen many situations where people have taken on a new role and they're like, "Hey, you need to build a whole new team." And they went right back to those folks who they know are going to do an amazing job and say, "I have an opportunity for you."
Definitely. So Renee, one of the things that I've seen that spoke on is, the flow method and showing your greatness. Can you walk us through the key pillars of, this method, and, how leaders can apply it to themselves to unlock, the personal potential in their teams? Yeah.
Absolutely. I love what I call the flow method, and it is about FLOW, right? The freedom to be who you are authentically, being your authentic self, and how being your authentic self really allows you to show up at the table at your absolute best, right? With your quirks, but with your unique talents and gifts and abilities, and not feeling a need to hide that, or to kind of like, dumb down in any particular way, because it really is in our uniqueness that we are able to exemplify our greatness. So that's the F. The L is about love. And people don't really talk about love in a work environment or in a corporate environment. But when I'm speaking about love, I'm not talking about it per se in a sense of emotions or feelings, but out of behaviors. And there are behaviors of love that exemplify servant leadership and the type of environment that you want to create so that both you and your team can thrive. And so those behaviors look like collaboration, seeing and hearing your staff and your team members, working together, problem solving, even giving them great feedback, because people who you care about and you want to do well, you give them really good feedback, especially if there's opportunities for improvement. So we're not talking about criticism, we're talking about helpful, meaningful feedback. Think of a coach, right? The type of behaviors that coaches exhibit with their teams. And coaches really, when you look at some of these sports teams, they have an amazing relationship with their coach, because even though their coach is firm, right? It's firm out of love, it's firm out of care, it's firm out of wanting them to be their best. Right. And then, of course, on the other side of that, we want to be able to work with teams that we can trust and we can feel good about collaborating with. And then the O is, that's one of my favorites. The O is all about over delivering, right? You got to over deliver. When you over deliver and you come to the table with your best, and when you are at a table that because you're there, things are better, people want to work with you. People will recommend you, people will refer you if they know that you're going to do an amazing job, and they know that once they've worked with you, like everything is good and better. They want to work with you, and they will call you back. The W is really about the willingness to always be a lifelong learner, to always want to grow, always want to develop, to always be in a place where you are not free to evolve. And those things together, when you are free to be yourself, when you operate in love, when you over deliver and impress people with your over delivering, and when you are willing to just always evolve and learn and be able to learn from anybody, people above you, people who report to you, people alongside you, you will be able to just flow in your greatness.
I absolutely love it. I am going to follow this flow method. But I do believe I do over deliver. And sometimes that can be a bit scary at times because you over deliver. And if you're not careful, I think, and you could let me know, you can become a little exhausted, right? But, you hope that people see that you really did a great job. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. You have to be mindful of your boundaries when it comes to over delivering. And I don't mean over deliver in the sense that you want to overwork yourself or push beyond your boundaries in a way that's going to burn you out or make you exhausted. I really want people to think about over delivering from the perspective of being known for delivering, being known for doing a good job, contributing in a meaningful way, being known for being a team player, being known that you are going to be part of being of the problem solvers, right? Not part of the problem, but you're going to be part of the solution. So in that way, because and also having a good attitude. So people who know their stuff, people who are willing to work with you and problem solve and come to you with solutions as opposed to problems. Those are the type of people that you want to work with. And so when you flow, it's kind of like, you show up in a certain way, but the essence of you lingers far beyond the time that you've left the room and the table.
For sure. Now, guys, if you are watching us on YouTube, we are here on Wednesdays at noon. So thank you for joining. And yeah, you see our fabulous guest, and she is giving us some key nuggets revolving around servant leadership and so much more. So, my next question to you, Renee, you know, um, many leaders struggle with balancing serving their team and driving high performance. How can leaders remain empathetic and serve driven, while still holding teams accountable for excellence?
So I believe that servant leadership, while it is a style of leadership that really is carries empathy and looks at the person and wants the individuals to thrive and want to support those individuals, and compassion is part of that. That doesn't mean that ownership and accountability is also not part of that process. And so ownership and accountability is just as important as making sure that your people know that you care about them and that you're exhibiting empathy. And so you don't want to be imbalanced, and you're compassionate and empathetic and a team player, but you don't address, issues that can help your team perform better. So you're going to perform, you want to make sure that they're up to par. If there's area and room for improvement, if there's a way to support them to increase their ability to perform, then you're going to do that. And you want to give good, valuable, meaningful feedback. And you want to be able to have buy-in so that you together can work on what needs improvement and how can I support you as a leader to get you there, right? And I don't believe that people are problems. I believe that fits are problems. And so at the end of the day, if the person is not a good fit for the role, that information that will come to light. And then at that point, it's time to move the person out of the role. But it's not the person that's a problem, it's the fit that's a problem. So for example, you don't want to hire me to be your chief finance officer, right? I don't love numbers. I do what I have to do with numbers because I do what I have to do, right? But you don't want me to be the person responsible for filing your 990s, filing your tax records, reconciling your books, because it's a begrudging task to me, and that's not my zone of genius.
For
So
sure.
that
And
means that's
sometimes,
not a good fit.
yeah, sometimes we fall into that trap, especially maybe we don't have, enough staff, or we figure, okay, let's put this task on someone and they don't have the idea, they don't know how to, that's not the strength, right? It's also important that we know what people are good at and what they're not good at, right? And also knowing within ourselves what we're good at, because I'm not touching finance, I'm not touching it, and there, of course, there's certain things that I will definitely touch, but again, you yourself in that leadership position, knowing what your team is good at, that's a plus, right? Making things work. And I love what you said. I want you to repeat it as far as the fit. And it's not the people, it's the fit, right?
Right. It's
So
usually not a
yeah.
personal problem, it's a fit problem.
Fit problem.
Mhm.
Love it, love it, love it. Again, guys, I am Dr. Neva, Global Leadership Strategist, and International Women's Conference is actually next year. Next year, March. Renee, I am going to call on you for that one. Yes, so just keep that in mind. I'm saying it here just to plug it in. So next March 7th, I've always done it and keep doing it at Hofstra University, and they've come on board over the few years being a sponsor of it. So really looking forward to that. And Renee, back to you for professional look, you know, for professionals looking into elevating their leadership and influence. What practical steps would you recommend for them embodying servant leadership, mastering the flow method, and building teams that consistently thrive?
You got it. So I would say servant leadership is the right style of leadership for me because it really aligns with my philosophy around people and helping. It's one of the reasons that I am with CARES, the National CARES Mentoring Movement. It is one of the reasons why I've had success as a leader in previous organizations. I do believe it is the key to developing high performing teams because you're giving your team members what they need to excel. You're creating an environment that fosters trust and collaboration and meaningful feedback, an environment that is really allowing each person to come to work every day and be the best version of themselves. And you're helping to feed that personal and professional development. So it really does create the feeling of love, right? So we talked about the behaviors of love, but when you are engaging consistently in the behaviors of love, the feeling follows. And so you have a team that feels like family, a team that you care about. So I think those are some of the major keys. But I would also say to do the work of leadership development, I would say periodically that we become a student of leadership every now and then. I'm now in a place where I am going back to becoming a student. I've been reading a flurry of books on leadership development, specifically on servant leadership. Robert Greenleaf is coined the term. I'm looking at what have I or have I not applied um, in this style in my current position and looking for ways to implement that so I can make sure I support my team the best way they need to be supported and that my servant leadership skills are being effective to in a way that is creating a great environment within the company and also producing great transformational outcomes.
And I agree with you, Renee, 100%, especially, we are constantly learning, right? So yes, I make it fabulous, the global leadership experience, but in a nutshell, I do leadership development, right? So but even though I teach it, I also continuously have to cultivate, make sure I'm staying on top of things, trends, because things move so quickly, Renee. And no matter how much you climb up the ladder, you gotta keep on top of it, right? And that's what you do. But Renee, I want you to tell people, I know you're an author, and I mentioned that earlier. You want to tell people about your book or your books? I think it's more than one,
Absolutely.
right?
Oh my gosh, it is more than one. I have 22 books. So I have two passions. One passion is service, which is, I get to indulge that passion as the president of the National Cares Mentoring Movement and with all the community service that I do. And my other passion is writing. I am a reader and a writer. And so I have several books out, and I'll tell you just about two really quickly. I write romance and I write contemporary fiction. My romance book, Unlikely Neighbors, came out on April 1st. So that is available in every format and at every bookstore. And today, can you believe it? Today, my other book, Second Wives Club, is available on Audible today. It came out before, but it was never
Wow.
on Audible. Today is my Audible release date. So I'm so excited to be able to say that.
That's awesome. I definitely have to support. And I mean, I've seen you around for for some years now, and I know you're doing some phenomenal work. And it's always a pleasure just, interacting with you. And, one thing I like about you, Renee, authentic. It's just real. It's not about the glitz and the glamour because individuals, they have it's just you're just you. And when I watch them Instagram with them fabulous pictures, but it's just come to life, right? Who you are. So
I'm
Renee,
just a
how can
girl that
they
likes books and looks.
serving it? So Renee, how can they find you?
So people can find me, just like you said, all over social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok. Professionally, I use LinkedIn a lot to really just talk about my professional world. Leadership, cares mentoring, the service work that I do, and my website, which is my name, reneedanielflagler.com.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure and thank you so much. All right. On till next time.